ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. I think it's almost synonymous, religion and prayer. Prayer is present in all major religions as far as we know them. In the Jewish tradition, prayer is really one type of enunciation that is present in all our religious services. You stand up and you consider as if you're standing before God. And there are three sections to that particular prayer, which is the following. The first one, you say, God, you are great. You can do many things. You are all-powerful. As a matter of fact, you can revive the dead. So my teacher, Rav Soloveitchik, used to say, why do we speak about reviving the dead? Because God is all-powerful. We have power too. We can do many things. You know, we can fly. We have shown that we can do so many things in nature. But there's one thing that we cannot do. We cannot revive the dead. We cannot give life, really, at least. These are our limitations to this day. So the first part of this prayer is recognizing the power of God, the greatness of God. The second part of the prayer is thanking God, or rather, the second part of the prayer is asking God for certain benefits, such as what? You don't ask Him for a new car, for a new home. You don't ask Him for material things. You ask Him for intellectual understanding, for health, for justice, for peace. You ask Him for certain values, morals, and you never say it in the singular. When you say, God, I need sustenance, you don't say it that way. God, we need sustenance. Your people needs something. This is the second part, where you ask God, you petition God. The third part is where you thank God for what He gives you, because the air that you breathe, the fact that you wake up every morning, this is the grace of God. So you thank God for the many benefits that you have. Let me review again. First, you say, God, you're great. You know, I recognize the power of God. Number two, it's to this being that I put forth petitions. I ask Him for understanding. I ask Him for love. I ask Him for sustenance. I ask Him for health. And as I said, always in the plural. And the third one is we thank God for all He has given us. How do we know that we can address God? We are a minuscule, a little being. How do you come before an all-powerful human, an all-powerful being? How do you address Him? So our rabbis say, well, the patriarchs taught us. In the Torah we see that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they all speak to God. Moses speaks to God. You can address God. This is what they tell us. You know, that's why we do it. Actually, originally, you know, prayer wasn't that present at all times. We used to relate ourselves through sacrifices in the Temple of Jerusalem, in the Beit HaMikdash. But that was destroyed. So one would have thought that would have been the end of the Jewish people, but no, prayer took its place. So in a sense, instead of offering animal sacrifices to God, we now use prayer. Obviously, prayer has to have sincerity. It isn't just a series of words that are going to come out of your throat. You have to have intention. You have to have belief. You have to have sincerity in what you are saying. So prayer is that, according to our rabbis, the Hebrew word lehitpalel is sort of examining yourself. You know, when you stand in prayer before God, you stand naked with your sentiments. You bare your heart. You're standing the way you really are. You have to be open totally. You can't come with any facade before God. In other words, it is introspection of the human being himself. But I want to argue this morning that maybe prayer is something else. If prayer is instead of sacrifices, this is what the prophet Hosea says, Uneshalma farim sefatenu. Now, instead of these animals that we offer prayers. What is a sacrifice? A sacrifice is giving of myself. You know, man started like that. The children of Adam immediately started that. You had Cain and Abel. They offered something, a sacrifice to God. Man feels the need to share, to give the best that he has to God. So if prayer is really sharing, giving, it is not about myself. It is about what I can do for others. In other words, when you come out of a prayer service, it's not that you have to feel better yourself because now you're purer. That should be an incentive to go out to do something for somebody else. In other words, prayer is the preparation for the service of God, and the service of God has to be translated into doing something for other human beings. This is what the Torah says. You have to love your neighbor as yourself. You have to do something for somebody else. So at the end of the day, when you make some kind of balance, what did you do today? How did you pray today? What does that mean? How you feel better about yourself? How you improved yourself? If you want to make a real balance, you have to ask, what have you done for somebody else today? Because the real prayer is to do something for somebody else. We want God to do something for us. You can't do anything for God, but you can do something for somebody else. So make sure that your authentic prayer is accompanied by good deeds that help to make this a better society.